Hey guys, Mr. Bowman here. This is the first of a 5-part series on the penguin colony example. And what we're going to do is we're going to step through every single section individually. It'll have its own video. And those sections will be problem, which we're going to do in this video. Next section, we'll do plan. Then we'll do data. Then we'll do analysis. And we'll wrap up with conclusion. Some of the videos will be longer than others, but let's get into them. So, the first thing that we need with us is we've got our marking schedule here. I've copied and pasted that below. I've got the context from the question here, and on another tab, I've got the NZ Grapher data as well. We don't really need to look at the data until the data section. So let's have a think about this. So in terms of context, the number of penguins in Antarctica have been monitored by the University of Auckland researchers between 2000 and 2006. This data can be found on time series. Okay, so we've got our context. Let's add in our problem heading, and what we're doing, I'll just scroll down. What we're doing is we're aiming for merit as well. So here we're going to need a purpose, and we're going to need research, and we're going to need a question. So I'm just going to write down that from that. So we're definitely going to need purpose. We're going to need research. We're going to need a question. And so that was just the achieve stuff. So write a purpose about the investigation. And for merit, we're just looking for strong evidence of contextual understanding. So that just means we're going to need to do research plus. And what I'm going to do, just to add some value, I'm going to add in a prediction of what I think the answer is going to be. So we now need to think about it. These are the things that we need. We've looked at the marking schedule, which is really important. These are the things we need. Let's rearrange them in order. So I'm probably going to put the question up first. So let's get rid of that. Okay, and our question, I wonder if the number of penguins in an Antarctic penguin colony changes over time. So what I've done there is I've made sure I've got context. So I've done that I wonder penguins in an Antarctic penguin colony and changes over time. So that's just the question. Let's get into purpose. We now need to start thinking about who would find this information useful, like why are we doing this? And just for me, penguins actually are my favorite animal, and so my purpose is going to be related to developing an understanding of penguins, to then be able to advise maybe the New Zealand government or other world bodies, what do we need to do to help protect the penguins? And this is going to be particularly important given the current climate change status. It's only going to get worse for these penguins. So that's our goal. So the purpose of my investigation is to provide evidence and an objective opinion to the New Zealand government and other world organizations to assist the protection of Antarctic penguins. So that's the purpose. We're trying to develop an objective opinion, provide evidence to that. So why would these organizations find it useful? New Zealand. Oh, actually, this is particularly important given the ongoing and developing climate change issues. The New Zealand government and other world organizations will be able to use this information to develop protection plans and policies to assist the conservation efforts in relation to Antarctic penguins. There we go. So what we've already done our question, we've done our purpose, provide evidence of an objective opinion to the New Zealand government, particularly relevant given the ongoing and developing climate change issues. The New Zealand government and other world organizations will be able to use this information to develop protection plans and policies to assist conservation efforts in relation to Antarctic penguins. Okay, so far that's the stuff. We've kind of made that up off the top of our head. We don't really need to research anything here, but now we need to get into it. So I'm looking for some research, some plus, because I want to get it to that merit criteria. And then we need to go through a prediction. So in terms of research, good old Google, all I'll be writing is penguins in Antarctica. That would be my first point. And if you have a look straight away, that we know there are 7 species. So that's really good context, really good research. We don't really know what kind of penguin we're looking for. Okay, so from my research, I have found that there are 7 penguin species in Antarctica. They are, and we'll just get some formatting stuff. We'll get a number list going just to list them all. So they are the Delhi. I'm not really sure how to pronounce these. Emperor, Chinstrap, Gentoo, King, 6 down the bottom, and the last one, the Rock Hopper. So that's the beginning bit, and normally what I like to do is I like to write my source. Where did I get this information from? So my source, copy and paste the link. So I'm going to write, oh, apologies, that was the year 9 stuff. Retrieved on 25th of May 2020 from, and I'll give a link, so if someone needs to find that information, they can. Okay, so that was my initial research. The next information is, well, what's happening with these penguins? And what can we do to do that? So let's have a look. So the next step is I want to figure out, well, are the number of penguins, are they increasing, are they decreasing? What are the current issues in relation to penguins? So number of penguins in Antarctica. And it looks like we've got some research up here. And we'll be able to go down. Looks like there's heaps and heaps of information on penguins. And straight away, I've already seen the word fallen. So that's something I'm interested in because that tells me something about the direction. Emperor penguin crashes by almost 90%. So those are the ones I'm looking for, ones that suggest something about the size. Whereas the ones above, they don't really tell me anything. They got alarm over collapse of chinstrap penguin numbers. So what I'll do is I'll probably research that. And the Guardian's a good source. So I'll open that in a new tab. And then we've already got chinstrap. And we'll go for the nature.com article as well. So we've got 2 more articles to help chat about that. So here we go. So we've got some penguins. And then probably start writing about this. So in a February 11, 2020 article, Jonathan Watts, so that's just the author. discusses, let's have a look, what does the heading say? Discusses issues with the collapsing chin strap penguin population numbers in Antarctica. So I do apologize if I'm spelling things wrong. So this is really good stuff. There you go. So he reckons they've fallen by more than half. So that's crazy. So half of that population have gone. And it's clear evidence to him that something is broken in the world's wildest ecosystem. There you go. So after more than a month of counting, there's been a sharp fall in the number of the distinct birds. Okay, using drones. Or, okay, that's interesting. 58% fewer than in a similar 1971 survey. So there's a key bit of information for us. And then we've got some more information, a Greenpeace expedition, and so on. But I'm happy that I've got the research that I need. So we're going to use that 58% number. In his article, he mentions that there are, then I'm going to put in quote, 58% fewer chin strap penguins than compared with an equivalent 1971 study. So that's a huge drop. And I guess the next question is, does he explain why this drop has happened? There you go. And then I saw this before, but scientists believe the most likely cause is climate disruption. On to say that, and I'm going to quote this, most likely cause is disruption. So that's not good as well. And I'm actually just read the rest of it. Human-driven heating has pushed up the temperatures. So I'm actually going to quote that whole paragraph because I think that all adds to it. So let's put it so it's in the same formatting. There we go. Okay, and again, let's write about our source. We've retrieved it on the same date, on 25th of May 2020 from, and let's get our link in. Okay. So next step, that second article that we looked at is what we want to study next. And the other article was here. So this relates to enormous penguin population crashes by 90%. There's a massive decline in a particular colony. There you go. So the world's second largest penguin colony has collapsed in just a few decades, falling from 500,000 breeding pairs in the 1980s to just 10 of thousands. So that's not great. Breeding colonies, so these relate to king penguins. That was one of the other types. So another article, excuse the bad formatting, but I'll change that later. Another article discusses the second largest penguin colony in the world. They note that it has crashed, or they note that the colony numbers has crashed by approximately 90%. So I've got that 90% from the heading. Okay. In the 1980s, 80s, they had around 500,000 breeding pairs in the colony, which has fallen to just tens of thousands in 2017. So that's a huge, huge drop. And again, that kind of confirms what we've already discussed. So we're going to wrap it up. Source retrieved on 25th of May 2020 from. So we've got our source. I'm just going to get that formatting all fixed because good formatting is important as well. There we go. And then I'll change the formatting about the blue ones as well. Okay, so we'll fix all the grammar later on, but now we've done that, so we've identified the types of penguins. We've chatted specifically about two. The next thing that I wanted to do is I just want to wrap up my thing with my prediction. Both of the above articles suggest a huge decline in penguin population numbers. As a result, I would predict that our penguin colony would also decline in numbers. Okay, so that there is my problem section. And I'll just clean up everything a little bit to make it look a bit nicer. So I think this is probably to a merit level, but what we've done is we've got a problem, we've got a question. I wonder if the penguin numbers in an Antarctic penguin colony changes over time. The purpose, it's to provide an objective opinion to the New Zealand government, ongoing issues. They can develop protection plans and policies. I figured out that there's 7 penguin types. The first article discusses the chinstrap penguins and their numbers, 58% fewer. The second article discusses king penguins, which I don't think I mentioned actually. I should write that down, king penguins. The colony numbers has crashed approximately 90%. They were around, or there were, okay. And then there's my source. Based on that, my prediction. And then how does that relate to my purpose? In New Zealand, government and other world organizations must step in to protect these species. There you go. So always nice just to link it back to the purpose. Okay, so that was my start to finish go at the problem section. If you have a look, that only took me about 20 minutes. And again, I just want to note, I haven't even looked at the data yet. All I've done is I've got my problem, I've developed my purpose, and I've done some research to get a contextual understanding of what's happening. Hopefully you found this video useful. Do pay attention and keep an eye out for the second video, which will discuss the plans section.